Today we'll start a new project, Hangman. Hangman is a phrase guessing game. Guessing letters not in the phrase will result in another part of a stickman being added to the hangman gallows. The object of Hangman is to guess the phrase before all 10 parts of the stickman are drawn. Today we'll use a switch statement based on an integer value for the first time. We'll use that switch statement to draw the correct phase of the stickman in the gallows. Hi, I'm Annette Gotland. I'm the author of the Do-It-Yourself Java Games books. I teach Java programming through creating games. Welcome to the video version of my books. We're currently in the Text Games video series, TG, the first of 4 types of games series. The focus of this series is to cover the fundamentals of Java programming. You'll learn how, when, and why Java programs are written the way they are. This series has 16 projects. Each project assumes you already have the skills taught in the previous projects. A link to the entire Text Games playlist is provided in the description below. We're currently working on the 15th project, TG15, Hangman. You'll be given a puzzle that shows how many words are in the phrase and how many letters are in each word, like this. If you guess a correct letter, the puzzle will show every place it's used in the phrase. If you guess an incorrect letter, that letter will be added to the list of wrong guesses, and another part of the stickman will be added to the hangman gallows. The object is to guess the phrase before all 10 parts of the stickman are drawn. This is lesson TG15.1, where you'll learn to use a switch statement with integer values. This project uses the MyWindow superclass we created in project TG8 Calculator and the MyString Methods class we created in TG12 Word Scramble. Let's start writing the next program. Exercise 1. Create the Hangman project, package, and class. Pause the video if you need more time in any of these exercises. If you want to see how I would complete any of the listings, please refer to the completed listings at the end of this video. First, create a new Java project named Hangman and add MyWindow, MyStringMethods, and DIYjava.jar to the class path of the project. Hint: MyWindow and MyStringMethods are Java projects. DIYjava.jar is an external jar file. Hint: if you're unfamiliar with these terms, please refer to lessons TG1.1 Hello World, Java Projects, Packages, Classes, and Instant Help, and to TG1.2 Hello World, Superclasses, DIY Window, and Quick Fix. Next, create a new package with a unique name. Hint: I named mine Annette.Gotland.Hangman. Then create a new class named Hangman with superclass MyWindow and with a stub for main and its constructors. And finally, add code to main to call the Hangman constructor. Run it. What happened? It should have opened the DIY window with no contents. First, create some variables to keep track of the phrase, the clue, and the wrong letters that have been guessed so far. Exercise 2. Create instance variables. First, add 3 private string instance variables to this program named phrase, clue, and wrong letters. They don't need initial values. Run it. What happened? It should still just print the empty window. Next, let's create a method to print the puzzle. We'll start printing the puzzle by drawing a completed hangman. Exercise 3. Draw a completed hangman. Create a new private method named printPuzzle. It should take no parameters and return nothing. Then call printPuzzle from the constructor. Next, add code to printPuzzle to draw a stickman on the gallows to look like this. Hint: use the escape character to print a backslash. Run it. What happened? It should have printed the stickman on the gallows as shown in the instructions. Next, let's print the incorrectly guessed letters beside the stickman. Exercise 4. Print the incorrectly guessed letters. In the constructor, assign ABC to wrong letters before you print the puzzle. Then, in printPuzzle, print wrong letters 4 spaces past the stick figure's arm. Run it. What happened? It should have printed ABC a few spaces to the right of the stickman's arm. Hangman requires 11 phases of the drawing. The first is the empty gallows. The next ones each add part of the stick figure to the gallows. The game should print only the head if the user guesses one wrong letter, the head and torso if the user guesses a second wrong letter, etc. If 10 wrong letters are guessed, the game should print the entire stick figure. Printing those 11 drawings based on an integer value would require a lot of if-then-else statements. Luckily, we can use integers in switch statements, just like we used strings in switch statements in previous lessons. First, let's just get the switch statement structure in place. Exercise 5. A switch block for 11 phases. In Print Puzzle, before it prints the hangman, add a switch statement based on how many letters are in wrong letters. Hint: use the length of wrong letters. Then write case statements for values 0 through 10. You'll add code for the cases later. Hint: the case values are integers instead of strings, so these case values shouldn't have quotes. Run it. What happened? It should have drawn the complete stickman just as it did before. Note that the first and last line of each phase is identical for all phases of the hangman. So let's print the first line before the switch block and the last line after the switch block. Exercise 6. Print the lines common to all phases. In Print Puzzle, move the first print statement above the switch statement. Then, move the next 3 print statements to case 10. Leave the last print statement after the end of the switch statement. Run it. What happened? It should have printed only the first and last line of the hangman. Finally, we're ready to write the code for the rest of the case statements. To make it easier to type the code, we'll copy the completed hangman into each case, then remove the unneeded pieces of the stickman from each case. Exercise 7. Complete the drawings for all phases. In Print Puzzle, copy the print statements from case 10 and paste them in cases 0 through 9. Then modify the code you pasted in case 0 so none of the stickman is printed. Modify the code you pasted in case 1 so only the head is printed. Modify the code you pasted in case 2 so only the head and torso are printed. And modify the code in cases 3 through 9 so only the parts shown in the earlier diagram are printed. Run it. What happened? It should have printed the stick figure's head, torso, and part of an arm, since wrong letters has 3 letters in it. It printed the right phase of the stickman when the number of wrong letters guessed was 3. We should test it to make sure it works for all possible numbers of wrong letters guessed. Exercise 8. Test other phases. In the constructor, change wrong letters to have anywhere from 0 through 10 letters and make sure it prints the correct stick figure. Run it. What happened? It should have printed the correct phase of the stickman for each of 0 through 10 incorrect letters. Key points and more. Other switch statement data types. This lesson introduced the usage of integer values instead of strings for the switch statements. Byte, short, and character data types are also allowed. You can also use enum data types in switch statements, but the enum data type is not covered in this book. Here are the completed listings for all the exercises in this video. This is the end of the first lesson in the Hangman project. It now draws the appropriate stickman in the gallows based on how many incorrect guesses were made. It's time to add clues to help the player guess the phrase. In the next lesson, you'll learn about a new data type, character data. The string class has several methods that use character data in analyzing and manipulating string contents. These methods will be very useful for generating the clues for Hangman.